Hello and welcome to Deep Blue Sea, the podcast. I am Mark Sassy Demon Hoffmeyer.
And I am Jay Chillax Cluett. Welcome you aboard Deep Blue Sea, the podcast. On this show,
Terrible
we
pilot.
have been through the entire Deep Blue Sea trilogy scene by scene. We're doing it again, but we're also covering Deep Blue Sea adjacent films. That's films featuring sharks, aquatic action, or the last few directed by Renny Harlin films. This is, other than the ones that he has released this year, 2024, and the one that we can't find, Class Reunion 3, if anyone out there knows it. Point it out our way. But this is the last one, I think. Our last classic Harlem film. There's still like some TV movies and TV episodes and music videos that we'll get to at some point. But this is Legend of the Ancient Sword. What is Legend of the Ancient Sword? Great question. I'd never really heard of this film prior to looking at it for today. I went in knowing nothing. That was an experience. Because this is a relatively short film. It's like an hour and 40 minutes. It's the same length as Deep Blue Sea.
It zips by.
There is a hell of a lot going on. This film. As I learned a couple of times, you can't look away from this film because you will miss things. It turns out to be an adaptation of a video game. I didn't know that, but going through it first round, I was like, this feels like a video game. So I was glad I picked up on that. But basically, basic plot is this is a world in which there are humans, there are kind of animal demons, and there are like magic robots made of wood and gold, and it's fine. Within this realm, yeah, like steampunk robots. Within this realm, this world, there is a bad guy who's got his partner is infused with a tree, trying to take over the world with that. Fine. And then there's these other people, all from different groups, all trying to look for this sword, the titular ancient sword, which is in 4 components scattered across the world. They've got some of them, they're looking for others. They're trying to bring the sword together that's the only thing that can take down the tree bad guy. And this, like, they end up, as always, they end up all working together. And so we're going to go full spoilers in this episode because we can't not, because this film is nuts. But in like a really fun way. But so before we even get into more spoilers than I've said, check this film out. It's fun. It's a good time.
This thing moves, Jay. This thing never stops.
It does not.
It's just propulsive. And like there's the Mind Slayers.
Can I read you my first 5 notes that I wrote down?
Yeah.
My first note. So, listeners, spoilers and spoilers, but so you can find this on YouTube. It's on Dailymotion. Go out and find it. Giant frogman, giant video game robot, little fold-out robot guy, tiger man guards, octopus DJ. That's my first 5 notes.
Hey, do you want to hear mine?
Go for it.
Bar fight. Elephant monster loses a horn.
Sure.
Fun fight. Robot helps. And then ice power. Ice face.
Yes, ice face.
And then I have steer the ship, Guardians of the Galaxy, Panda Dragon, Water Stones, Green Screen City, flips into another portal. I have They Turn into Smoke.
Yep.
I have Parchment Catches on Fire, Tidal Wave, Panda Bear. Let's see. Inventive set piece on a flying boat. Robot ties himself to a guy and flies away. There's a submarine. He's a horrible driver. Chillax.
Yes, Chillax is my favorite.
A CGI monster that was already hurt and cut up. Let's see.
I was frustrated that the term Chillax had made it to China, let alone this ancient or different realm based on a video game. Like Chillax should have died in the West, I think.
I love it, man. And I also have slow motion running from water.
Mm-hmm.
I have, let's see, Ice Sword. Dude is freezing, rich Playboy look, half demon mermaid.
Yeah.
Are the wings for decoration?
So
oh wait, and then you think you can kill me with that stupid sword? And that piece of blank makes me angry.
Sure. Yes, I like that as well. Yeah, so there's like the team of this all have secrets. One of them is secretly a robot clone. One of them is secretly part of a sword who lives in a painting and eventually dies and becomes grass. One of them is secretly the Emperor's son, but also secretly a mer person. And it's the Emperor's son bit that's more surprising to the rest of the characters.
Yeah.
The most normal
Who
and
has
relatable
ice
character,
powers.
yes, and he has ice powers, but the most normal or relatable person is a talking panda. Like,
Yeah.
the whole thing, which I wasn't prepared for anything that happened. I went into this thinking, oh, this is just gonna be some kind of like skip trace. This is gonna be like skip trace with a bit more of a fantasy element to it. No, this is wall to wall fantasy throughout. um,
Yeah, it's like a wuxia
mm,
fantasy, and
yes,
like it's just someone made a joke that it crams 100 hours of gameplay from the mobile game into a 90-minute spectacle, and
sure,
it's
yeah.
just like this movie. And then in the same review, which I read about it, which is really good, by the way. Like I love that they talk about all the things in the movie. They're like, there's giant tentacle monsters, talking pandas. There's, let's see, I have a whole list of what they said here. There are, oh, here we go. Let's see, plant sucking trees, demons, mini quests, steampunk, animal demons, robot battles, sword fights, magic duels, parallel worlds, mermaids, giant killer plants, beautiful goddesses, airships, and more.
There's and we've said it moves. It's propulsive. Like
Oh, geez
there's
Louise.
like an opening scene that is basically real steel. There's a whole real steel opening scene with fighting. You get two whole fights in there, which leads to like an auction whole scene there. Massive fight sequence in that with more animals, more demons, loads of powers. We meet all the different players, and then this is like they all decide to work together. We are 15 minutes into the film when we've like when so much has gone down. We're like 15, 60 minutes in when we've had this like four fights have already happened, basically. Um,
Oh, this is one of those movies where you just throw your notes in the air and you just kick the recliner back on your chair and just watch it
yeah.
and just kind of go with it. And you know what sucks, Jay, is not many people watch this. In 2018, this was 175th ranked in the
Ooh,
Chinese box office.
yeah.
175. It made $2 million.
I would understand if it was 175 in like the American box office because no one's heard of this out. Like, I don't think it even made it to America. I think it just kind of stopped at China.
$2
Um,
million. So, we talked about, oh man, why can't I think of the other Renny Harlin movie
Bodies at
that,
Rest.
yeah, Bodies at Rest. That one made 18 million its opening weekend. So it made like just 9 times the amount in the opening weekend
Yeah,
of
and
this one.
that's like a much lower budget, like set in a hospital kind of drama.
Like
Uh,
I read that audiences hated this. They just saw it and went, "Oh no, like this isn't it." Like Alibaba, they produced it, the brand, like they released it, and it just was met with near universal disdain. And I listen, I don't know much about like the culture over there and the movies that are released, but for me, this was fun. This
yeah.
was I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting with it. I had no idea, Jay. I never thought Rennie Harlan could make something like this.
Well,
Actually,
I don't. I mean, there was a different director credited for the action sequences.
yeah, that's fair.
Uh, whose name I didn't.
Oh, we
Uh,
have the name. I have the name. It's coming up. Let's see. Quinn Peng Fei.
okay.
He said the action. He started his career working in the Red Cliff films,
Right.
and then he became a stunt coordinator by the time God of War rolled around.
Okay. So I cannot speak to other like wuxia films. I think this is the first one I've seen. I've not even seen like
Crouching Tiger
nope.
or like Hero.
I don't. I might have seen like clips, but I definitely haven't seen the whole thing.
Oh,
I
hey, can I actually prepared for something, Jay?
great.
I found the definition of like wuxia films, and I just made sure to say it right. But it's a genre of Chinese fiction concerning the adventures of martial artists in ancient China. So
Okay.
that's the easiest way to explain it.
Sure. And it
So
tends to, as far as I'm aware, it has like you get like the wire fu kind of action sequences, which I am all on board with. I'm more than happy for. I know some people don't like them because it's like it's not real like martial arts. It's jumping extra high and extra far. But in a
because
fantasy world,
The Matrix did it first.
sure. But
Yeah, that's a lie. That's a lie.
in a fantasy world, who cares how high you can jump? There's a panda. There's a giant frog man. You know, there's I love what you said about the wings being decorative. I'm guessing that means the ship, the flying
Yeah,
fish
they're not even
ship.
necessary.
It's like shaped like a puffer fish, basically, but it flies and it has no other means of propulsion. It's just these like dragonfly wings out the side, but they're not doing anything. And it's called the bamboo bun ship. And yeah,
And they just eat there and they just
yeah,
kind of
they eat
hang
seven times
out
a day.
and
Yeah,
fight. It's a giant ship. There's a
it's
mass.
huge.
The set builds on this. The one
Mm.
of the producers on this said that some of the sets took 3 months to build.
Whoa, wow.
So I feel terrible that it cost two made $2 million. Not cost, it made 2 million because there's gigantic builds on this with fun set pieces. And I will say, I did notice that Victoria Song as Wen in this, she falls a lot. Like she's basically she has spear. That's her power. She has spear.
It's not just spear. It's a spear that turns into a boomerang and kills people like the shooting in Wanted. It just like curves around. She just like throw this thing folds up. I don't know what if she's got some kind of psychic connection to it. It just kind of folds up at will, and she throws it, and it goes around a room in a circle and comes back to her. It's like a spear boomerang with Mjolnir powers. I loved it.
I
But
loved it.
it's
And she
great.
gets knocked down a lot.
She
That's one
does,
thing.
and there's a few like when they face off against the main bad guy at the end. She doesn't. She's like stood in the background where everyone else gets something to do. Although, like when I say what else gets something to do, the other female character becomes the sword. So I don't know how much you can say that she has something to do there. But the two men are like one's gonna throw the sword, one's gonna jump and use it to cut, whereas Wen's just gonna hang around in the background. Which like that kind of sucks. You've been a team this whole way through, and she just gets to watch. Uh,
Yeah, because you have the rich guy with ice, and then you have the dude with the robot, and then
yes,
yeah, she gets sidelined.
a little bit, but then that doesn't turn out to be the end of the bad guy, who
Yeah, I thought it was the bad guy, didn't
because
you?
yeah, well,
I,
there's a whole. Uh, there are a few like strands that don't really get tied up. Like the bad guy, who I think his name was Shen Yi. He has a henchman who the guy who is like, in the wheelchair with the eye patch and really long white hair. He looks like the guy from House of the Dragon. He has the long white hair and an eye patch. He's doing House of the Dragon cosplay. I don't care, but um, he like just disappears. He's not. He's like a major bad guy throughout the film, and we don't see what happens to him. But fine. But yeah, the main guy Shen Yi, he like has his partner, his girlfriend tied to the tree, and then the Mind Slayer, which just to confirm, the Mind Slayer is the name of the real bad guy in this. Mind Slayer, not a good character. Mind Slayer, bad character.
bad
You
character.
might be confused because someone called a Mind Slayer could be a good character. That's it's like this kind of volcano man who's just like molten ash emerges from this lady and becomes a giant volcano head on this just on the side of a building or inside the building. Which I don't. What is this film, Mark? What are we watching here? What happened? What? Where did this come from?
I, I gave up. I really did. Like when she became the sword, and he's like, she's in here, and wherever I go, she goes. And then the thing is a smoke monster, and then the guy's like, remember what happened here? Then the tree doesn't destroy the town. I was just like, this is crazy. I'm just
my
having fun with this, and
my my wife started watching this with me, but she left. And I about two-thirds way through, I paused it, got up, and went to her like, the rich guy is actually a mermaid, and she's like, okay, and I just came back to the film, carol going, just that was like that was it for me. I was like, what? Why? What
they
is?
were under the water for a long time.
It makes sense that he be a merman, I guess.
Yeah,
Like, but the other guy like
dead.
both drowned and froze at the same time at the bottom of the sea. He freeze drowned. There's like these ice tentacles coming out to kill him, to hold him down there. But yeah, merman comes down and saves him. And
There's you could just this kind of reminded me of something like Jupiter Ascending, where
yes,
it packs in
100%.
so much stuff. Like I once did a list of everything that happens in Jupiter Ascending, and I
Are
would
you
just
still
run
are you
out of
still
breath.
making that list?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just a creative bomb of just worlds.
Mm.
And so yeah, this one I think, yeah, And listen, it only has 228 votes on IMDb. Like 228. That's nothing. That's like this is a huge movie that like legitimately doesn't exist. There's no
Absolutely.
interviews. There's no really anything out there
There's
about it.
no behind the scenes at all. So
Well, there's a
let's take
couple
a
minute long green screen clips that I watch, but that's it.
take a leaf out of the Too Fast, Too Forever playbook. How many people have logged this on Letterboxd, do you think?
37.
91, which is such a small number for.
This movie really did. It just tanked at the box office, and then they just disappeared. Like it's swimming with the fishes. I think. Like Renny Harlin doesn't even talk about it.
Yeah,
He doesn't even bring it up.
Bodies at Rest has 765.
Yeah, because that one's good. That one's very accessible.
Uh, Born American, like Rennie's first film, Born American, has 711. But no one said of that film.
It's streaming now though, so that's good.
Okay, that's good. But yeah, it's just 91 for a film like amongst the cast you've got Victoria Song is like a K-pop star. She's from the band FX,
Big
which is like
stars.
yeah, and like what was it? Archie Cow was in CSI. He had a CSI role, I think. Um, Godfrey Gao has sadly passed, but he voiced Ken in the Chinese version of Toy Story 3.
Yeah.
So like, I'm thrilled about that.
It had a cast. It had a good cast.
He's China's Michael Keaton.
It has a good cast. A lot of money went into it, and it just disappeared from the world. But I'm glad we found it on YouTube.
Yeah. Well,
Like they don't even care enough to take it off of YouTube. And the YouTube views, Jay, are like 45,000, which isn't a lot.
so I started watching it on YouTube. I eventually changed to Dailymotion because where I was watching it, I couldn't turn off the auto-generated subtitles. So it's got its own inbuilt subs, but then it was also generating different ones, which were different. And they were often the same. But I'm glad I watched this twice because the second time around I had that first like 10 minutes with the correct subtitles and I could pay attention to the correct ones. I feel like I missed stuff the first time around. But at one point, the real subtitles from the film were "The magic tree is killing people," which in any other film would be the wrong subtitles. But this one had the right subtitles. The wrong subtitles for that scene: "I am a murderer," is what the film was telling me was being said in that sequence.
Oh man.
So I'm glad. So don't watch it on YouTube. Watch it, or if you can, just turn off the auto subs. Go for never use auto subs. They never. There's not. Don't do it. Uh,
This is I,
there's so much in this film to talk about. We don't know where to talk about. This has, I think, of all of Rennie's films, this has the deepest, bluest scene.
yeah, a lot of time and terrible piloting.
Sure. When they were saying like the last part of the sword is in the
The
deep,
depth.
I was like, hell
Yeah.
yes, this is going to. And they land on some water. I was like, here we go. And then they take off again. I was like, no, wait, the water, go back to the. This what this did it. But no, the deep is the deep is underground water. They land on like ice, I guess, and they go through it, and they have a submersible, and they go down, and there's a whole world down there, and they go down really far. I had to. No, there's no. When we get to the deepest, bluest rankings, there is no indication for how deep or how high any of this is. They have the frickin' sky rocks from Avatar in this film that I don't know. I just had to make a whole lot of guesses. But yeah, they go deep underwater in the submersible, and when they get down there, there's a giant monster. There's the guardian of the Night Pearl. I was like, that was almost going to be my intro nickname for the film, Jay, Guardian of the Night Pearl. But we see the guy for like 5 seconds, and then that's it. And I was so disappointed we didn't have more of this underwater giant monster with all the tentacles and the teeth and everything. Like, as we meet him, it's like, yes, here we go, another one of these guys. But no, that's it. He's gone. You must
This
have been
movie has time
devastated.
for nothing. There's a imprisoned elephant.
Sure.
That elephant monster that you're like, okay, they're gonna let this monster go, and it's
And they
gonna be
do.
freed. And they freeze it in ice and break off one of its tusks,
And that's it.
and then you never see it again. Like this
Yeah.
this movie has no time, Jay. Like it's that joke that what Craig Ferguson, whenever he mimicked Liam Neeson, he's like, "There's no time. There's no time." Like this movie just goes. It's like they're flying. There's attacks. There's like it's. I don't think this movie ever really stops. I know a lot of the fights take place in the DJ Octopus Lounge, but they spent a lot of money on that, so I think they wanted to film there.
Yes, definitely.
But
Yeah.
it's geez Louise.
And there's
I
the map room on the ship. They do a lot of fighting there as well.
Oh yeah, the map room. But I mean that like they built some big sets for this movie. I feel so
Yeah.
like it made 2 million.
It's so sad. Yeah, when they were in that map room and the Iceman was checking out the map, I glanced away for a second and I came back and he was in the painting. And
Yep.
I don't, I don't know what happened. And then I watched it again second time, and that is just he's just looking at it and then he's in it. But there's no good time to look down and make a note and look back up again. There's no time. You need to pause it every time.
And everything that can go wrong does go wrong to that poor parchment. It gets lit on fire. It gets cut in half. It gets water thrown on it, which creates a tsunami.
Yep.
Like that lady's sweet crib is just destroyed.
It's gone. Yeah.
Like,
Ruined.
it's just like there's like a like it just there's water, there's tidal ray, like there's ice portals. They go through an ice portal.
Yes, and then uh, when the main guy, the robot guy, is like stuck down at the water and Iceman has to go and save him, they just leave the two women who aren't wearing a lot of clothing just on ice. I get they just come out of the freezing water. Like I feel like they should be wearing more appropriate attire for ice quests.
And then
And
they
they wouldn't.
pan up to them, and then like later on when they're both like when Merman Man saves the robot man, I have their names here. So it's like Leehom Wang as you, and then there's what Godfrey Gao as what Z Jia.
They kept
Oh
calling him
man,
Iceman, so I figured.
yeah, Iceman. All right, yeah, I had the pronunciation down, but I learned a lot of them. So as they're coming out of the freezing water, the two ladies are just bonking on the ice, like they're really doing nothing. But then
Oh,
they
so
never explain it.
in the UK, saying they're bonking on the ice means different. And something else. So they're not doing that. Uh,
Yeah, they're not
they're
doing
just
it.
chilling. They're chilling.
No snogging either. They're trying to break through the ice.
Yeah,
Hopefully, does that mean good stuff? Well, I
yeah.
mean,
They're
breaking
trying.
the
They're
ice
trying
means
to.
they're trying
They've
to.
already broken the ice. They've known each other for a while at that point, right?
Yeah, so they are trying to create holes in the ice so that no, but there already is a hole in the ice,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're just trying to make the hole bigger. I guess I don't know. They got to
and
do
no one
something.
cares. It just
Yeah,
goes.
yeah. It just
And they're
goes.
like, all right, peace, see ya.
Oh yeah, because Iceman just erupts out of it because he's a friggin' merman. He just he just comes up and they just burst out of the ice. Uh,
I love this movie. There's a bidding war in
uh,
this movie.
yeah, yeah, and the you just gets up and like makes a bid and just assumes he's won. Just gets up and starts like going to get hasn't paid the money, hasn't checked to see if he's gonna be outbid, just goes and gets it. And then yeah, like all for this ring that's part of the sword.
There's no time. There's no time.
I found him to be a little annoying as a protagonist because
Yeah, yeah.
he's the Scoggins role. He's the one in the background making like jokes now and then. He shouldn't be the lead of the film.
No, that never works.
Yeah, like that's. I liked his little robot guy. His was it Iron Man? He called him Iron Man something. I liked him. He was fun. Little like wooden box with legs and claws and things. Uh, and he can turn
I
into a
think
shield. That's fun.
that character works. So this world, there's a really zany dude, like beyond zany. Then there's Ice Face, who's like super stoic. Then there's another stoic lady, and then there's another stoic lady. So I think it works
Well, and there's a
when
stoic mentor as well.
oh yeah, there's a stoic mentor, but I think it works when you make like a Guardians of the Galaxy where Star Lord isn't as zany as this guy, but he's just sarcastic. Then you have Zoe Saldana, who's like the super straight character, and like all their humor is different. Like Drax is an idiot,
But like Drax is,
Rocket is sarcastic.
you could say like Drax is like stoic to a fault in that he's
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
he's like beyond stoic. Whereas yeah, Rocket's sarcastic. Groot is just like childlike innocence in a big tree was just funny in itself. So
So they're not all the same. Like they can play off of each other. But this one, you have
yeah,
three stoics and
and a
one.
fool and a buffoon.
Like I know Victoria Song can act, but her in this movie, just everything that like Leehom Wang does, she's like, ugh, do we
Yeah,
have to? And like, yeah, that doesn't work when that's your character beat. But
yeah,
these characters don't matter in this because it's like she wants revenge because like her mentor, she says it about 18 times, and then they just go to adventures.
yeah.
That's
There's
it.
too much going on for the characters to matter. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, we have to add. There's no time for them to have development. There's just no
there's no
time.
time.
There's no
Yeah,
time. There's no time.
there's no time. Yeah,
Um,
and so she's busy falling on the ground. I mean, just people are turning to dust. They didn't even turn to dust in the beginning.
it's bloodless, isn't it? I think
Yeah,
I'm guessing it's for the rating. So there's no blood in the film. If anyone dies or just gets hit, they just turn into a cloud of dust. Uh, Even
there's
when
mermaids.
like there's a guy gets kind of run through with a big wheel at one point, which you would think, oh, it's just gonna like be bruised, but no, dust. He's gone. He's dust. So it's fine. Uh, yeah, and we see when when the big tree is killing the town. With just oh no, the ships are
The ship.
launching like seed bombs that turn into vines that then start killing people, and their souls come out and they're like those little dandelion fluff things from Avatar, which then like sucked up into the tree. They're the souls. That's like so it's bloodless, but there's like seeds like flying up. It's odd. That's not what happens when people die, I assume.
Ah,
Uh,
and the plot. Okay, so the plot, right? It's if we're gonna sum this up.
I tried.
So
I really tried.
basically, Shen Yi, right,
That guy.
and what Kang Ming.
Yeah,
These
Kang
these
Ming
two.
is like the one tied to the tree.
Yeah, she's stuck to it. She's in it,
She is the
and
tree.
then there's like and her high priest Shen Yi. They made a deal with a demon called the Mind Slayer
Sure, bad guy, very bad guy.
to plant blood sucking trees that are magic
Yes,
on Earth,
I don't. I didn't get why.
and like so they want to like revive the demon, and then who would then grant them power to leave their heavenly home and destroy the Earth. Actually, I found the transcript and I wrote it down. Here, let me find it.
Okay, that's good.
Okay,
Uh,
let's see.
I didn't like the Wikipedia description because it starts with due to a fateful occurrence, Yui leaves home. We don't see that. That's not part of the film. Maybe that's part of
No,
the video game, but that's not part of the film.
all right, let me read some. This is how the movie opens. In today's world, all the magic and the power of the god has become a legend, passed with our ancestors. Only Yanja art left.
That's the
The most
robots.
yeah, the most fantastic ability in the present time. Robots are made of stone and wood, entered with spiritual energy. This art science makes robots live. With such an ability, humans are capable of coexisting with demonic creatures until the human world remains peaceful. And then I put, let's see, leader of the floating moon town, Kang Ming, and his great pastor, Shen Yi, made an agreement with the devil, the Mind Slayer, and they enable the tree of nature, absorbing blood and manpower. Okay.
Yeah, the tree lives on people dying, basically.
Oh, a spiritual force named Lishan, which helps Dewey Na Nuwa repair the sky after the sky fall fell. When the sky was repaired, the the Lishan tribe lives above the floating moon city, in the sky looking over the human world. Well, after centuries pass, they cannot withstand the decline of the offspring, oppression, and survival in the floating moon city. So it sounds like they're like, send us up to the floating moon city. And then like they're like, it's not Paradise City. It's Guns N' Roses song. It's terrible up here. So then they wanted to get the Mind Slayer to help them go back to Earth so they can take it over and have better stuff.
Yeah, that's Take me down to the paradise city. You say,
Take me
up
down to the human city. Get me out of
where,
this tree. This ain't
where,
pretty.
would you please take me down? Yeah, exactly. Yes, I think you summed it up. Yeah,
Renny Harlin. Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's what they're planning to do, but they haven't reckoned with once once the Mind Slayer is powerful enough, he's just going to kill them as well. I guess because like when because Chen Yi has been implanting flowers into the hair of Kang Ming
Yeah.
in the tree, which is like a protection to prevent her from being taken over by the Mind Slayer. But that does not work because he emerges from her, and I'm pretty sure she doesn't survive that. Um, and then he takes out Shen Yi, kind of, although Shen Yi is still alive at the end to prevent. He manages to re-link with the tree and prevent the falling moon, the Sokovia, from crashing into the planet. um,
Oh, and
I
also too,
think.
I found some other things here. The sword located in a place called Depth, which is under the South Sea. The portal door goes inside, only open every 60 years. So the one door
And
that they
they
went
say
through,
like, unfortunately, that's just tomorrow.
yeah, and then like my good fortune paid off, and this rare event will happen tomorrow. And they have to find the sword of enlightenment, but it's shattered into 4 parts. So they have to go find the 4 parts. So there's a ring, and
There's a
there's a
ring. There's a flute.
flute,
There's
uh,
the pearl, like
the
the
pearl,
ball,
and
and then
something else.
the fourth part is the lady, is Ruin.
The lady, yeah,
But
yeah.
they keep saying like, oh, there's 4 things, there's 4 things, and they never list the 4 things until they've only got 3 of them. It's like we've got all 4 things. 1, 2, 3. I thought, well, hang on, like,
No
you haven't
time.
got.
There's no time.
But they like we've got all 4 things. We've got the ring, we've got the flute, we've got the pool. And then they stop, and then the other guy is like, I think there might be a fourth thing of the 4 things. There might be a fourth, but I don't know what it is. Huh. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know. Yeah,
yeah,
it turns
it's
out Rowan's a Horcrux, and so she needs to, just sacrifice herself to become a sword. But then, when she does that, she, I think, off screen also becomes grass, and the Iceman manages to grab a little bit, and he's like, there's old saying that when you die and become grass, you can come back to life again. Everyone's like, what are you talking about, Iceman? And he's like, I'm going to try and bring her back. She's actually come back. She's a sword now, but she's going to come back. I did I did enjoy you going like, wait, so is she the grass or is she the sword? And I was like, shh, don't worry, don't stop it. Don't don't worry.
there's no time.
Don't ask
There's no
questions.
time.
The credits are coming in any second now. We've got to get out of here.
This was supposed to be a trilogy.
Yeah, I can't believe like this isn't the entirety of the trilogy in this film. This was just like part 1. If they'd made the other 2 and you did a marathon of those, it'd be the most exhausting film watching experience I can think of. But like watching Uncut Gems on repeat. It's
Oh
so
no.
just draining.
I know I keep saying it, but it really there's no time.
There is no.
Like just the like people are betting on stuff, and then there's a robot fight. That one
I
lady's missing her trainer, and then that
worth.
one guy's good or bad, and then, yeah, but is he a is he a clone?
He's a clone. He's a robot clone. He's a
Yeah,
very
it's a
very good
robot
robot
clone.
clone, but he's a robot clone. It's like he
And
doesn't
just
recognize the main guy.
you're just sitting there. Oh yeah, I remember because he has that flashback, and he's
I
like, "Oh yeah, you
recognize the
saved my life."
bird,
Yeah.
but not
Oh,
you.
and he has a bird.
He's got
He
a
has a
little robot
robot
bird.
and a bird.
He taught
When
it.
I get a bird, it'll fly.
I don't know if he taught it to fly or if he did some mechanics to it and made it. I don't know. Either way, it's got a robot, a little robot sparrow that can fly. Great.
You know what always bothers me? You can't be someone who where's the art called? What's the name of this ancient art called? The power it passed with our Yanja sorry if I'm butchering it. But if you're that good and you can kind of steampunk put together a robot that can destroy larger robots and you can control that magic and you can make birds fly, you're not an idiot.
Yeah.
Like I don't like it when characters are dumb, but they also have incredibly smart tendencies.
I mean,
And
I've known some people who are very gifted in some ways, but also pretty stupid in other ways. You know, it's out there. There are many who would say I am very stupid, but I can do some things. So you know, we all have our skills in different areas. Um,
no, listen, that's fair, but it's just I don't know. It's just he's such kind of a bozo, but
yes,
the
yes, he
guy's
is.
incredibly talented, and I think that's like the Chris Pratt effect, where Star Lord was an idiot, but he was also pretty good at what he did. So I think, like, I don't know, I've just never enjoyed idiots who are like really good at what they do. I
Yeah,
don't know.
true. Yeah, that's fair enough.
I don't know. Like, I think there's ways to bumble into things, like skip trace. Johnny Knoxville's fallen into things like that works, but I don't know. But yeah, it's uh, Renny Renny Harlin. How much of this movie did he direct?
So, well, I mean, there is a lot of action scenes. So, if he didn't do the action, I would say like half, maybe, perhaps even less than half. I don't know. Uh, hmm. So, what did you think of the action scenes?
I mean, they all blended together. Like, I think the first ones were really fun because you learned everyone's powers,
Hmm.
but the later ones, like when they're throwing the scroll to each other and the parchment, and there's smoke monsters, and then there's gears, and I also feel like the main guy's powers, he was either really tough in certain moments and then not tough in certain moments,
He
and it was
relies
just
on his like gauntlet grappling hook thing a little too much.
yeah,
Uh,
like well, that's why I think Victoria Song has a spear, like her super spear. She has a lot of action on that, and I don't
yeah,
know. I think they it looks good, it looks fun, it's never bad. It just kind of all blended together. By the time the final fight happened, I was already like, "There's
this
because
again.
yeah, because the first fight you're in the auction house, and then you have another you have in a giant sound stage, and you have a second fight in a giant sound stage, and then you have a third fight in a giant sound stage. So I think you need to kind of differentiate your action a little bit because most of the action all felt the same here.
Yeah,
But
I liked the one in the map room because you have like the effects of the fight then taking place, like affecting the map world. So like it's like we said, like when the thing catches on fire because the room's on fire, then there starts to be like a volcano erupting and the world's on fire, and that whole world is on fire. And when it gets cut in half, the world gets cut in half. So I liked that was a bit different, but then we kept on coming back out of that into the room, and it's just it's the same kind of thing again, where they're just they're throwing a map around, but other than that, it's the same. But I always enjoy when there's like a wanna in action scenes where they it's not an actual one, but it's kind of knitted together to look like one. I like that kind of thing where it's like in the Avengers films where they have jumping from one to the other, but it's all one fluid. This is what this guy's doing, and now we're over here, and now we're over there. And I like that all in one. Like there's more choreographed. There's more thought and attention being put into planning out what it will look like. I appreciate that.
I think a lot of care went into the fights in this movie. I
Yes.
hope I'm not knocking on it. They all look good, and I think all the actors prepared well. But I think there's just no time, Jay.
Yeah, there's no time.
There's just no
There's
time. And
just no
also, though,
time.
like I love movies with mini quests. So this one's all about mini quests. So I love National Treasure. Like I think National Treasure is incredible. I like the Indiana Jones movies. If you're in a movie where like I got to go get this thing, then you get the thing. And you're like, oh wait, we got to go get another thing because this is just a piece of that thing. Then you go to that thing, and then there's someone chasing you because they're bad too. And then you're like, oh hey, I got to go find my uncle who disappeared. It's like Indiana's dad. And then just throw all that crap in a movie, and I'll go watch it. Like I'll even go watch Uncharted, and I felt like that wasn't even a movie. So it's
I
just
abandoned that
give
one.
yeah, just give like there's a floating ship. Like I'm very easy to entertain when it comes to people looking for treasure or a sword. Like once you give me that, okay, we're on a journey, let's go, baby. Like I don't care about you're a mermaid, fine. I don't care. Like what happened here? I don't care. Like that guy's a robot, just get me to this thing. Like that's my mindset during these movies is all right, let's get it. Let's solve this thing. So I liked this one. Okay, Bodies at Rest is a better movie, but
Yes.
this one's more entertaining.
Yeah, I think I'd say so. But I liked them both. I really liked them both. You know,
Yeah.
I've uh, as I've said before, I've kind of gone into this the kind of lesser known Rennie films with some degree of trepidation, and I'm delighted at the surprises we found along the way.
I mean,
So
he knows how to point a camera. He knows how to set up a set. He knows how to make things work, I think. And, varying degrees of time. And he's even admitted that he'll just take projects because he likes being behind the camera. But the one thing about a Rennie movie is something will always be fun and they'll always be watchable. Like he knows how to make a movie watchable. So, and that's not a knock. Like he's just a guy who knows his way around a camera, no matter. He's filmed in 20 countries. Like he knows what to do in those 20 countries to make something fun. So, hey, random question for you. We've gone through all of his movies now. Like, barring Deep Blue Sea, like what have been what? How about not best? What 5 Renny Harlin movies do you enjoy the most that aren't like Deep Blue Sea, Cliffhanger, or Die Hard 2, or
let
Long
me
Kiss
go
Goodnight?
to my letterbox list.
Does that make
Uh,
sense? Like,
yeah, sure.
like let's leave the huge ones out and let's talk about his kind of lesser known stuff, like the Cutthroat Island or the
Yeah,
Driven or 12 Rounds. Like,
Mindhunters.
oh yeah,
Mindhunters.
Mindhunter's number
Mindhunters.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I haven't put this
Mindhunters
one.
rocks, dude. I love Mindhunters.
I haven't got this one or um. Have I put Devil's Pass on here yet? I have. Yeah. So I've not ranked this one. So we've got this one. We've got Class Reunion 3, his 3 The Strangers films, and The Refuge. That's basically the films that are on his slate that we haven't got to yet. So I haven't ranked them. So without those, Driven is dead last and will remain dead last forever. So we're just gonna. I hate Driven. But yeah, Mindhunter is number one. Prison. I really enjoyed Prison. As like a what are we going
Yeah.
what are we going into here?
Yeah.
Oh, this is great. um,
Yeah. Absolutely.
Ford Fairlane. I got after that
Yep.
because that's a lot of fun. Cutthroat Island, and then Bodies at Rest would be my number 5. I thought it was great. Bricklayer just below Bodies at Rest because Bricklayer was also a really fun time.
That movie
Like,
flew by.
he kills people with bricklaying tools. He's no other assassin or hitman could do this job because everything is bricklaying related. Great. Like where is the secret thing hidden? It's behind some bricks. Only he would know that. I,
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I gotta do Cutthroat Island. I mean, that
Mhm.
final battle, Jay, on top of the huge boat, like that's gorgeous.
Yeah,
And people die so hard in prison.
and Mindhunters. Yeah,
Oh my, yeah, mine Hunters is my number one. I do
great.
love me some Skip Trace because I love the one with the dolls, like the fight with the like Russian nesting dolls or the nesting dolls. Like I love that. 12 Rounds, I'm not so hot on. Misfits, the Covenant is just the Covenant is the Covenant.
That
I
was
mean, Nightmare
pretty
on
low
Elm Street
down for
4.
me.
Oh, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, I gotta add because people die so incredibly hard
Oh,
in that
I
movie.
count that was one of the bigger ones. So I didn't.
Yeah.
I
Oh, okay. That's fair. That's fair. Like Ford Fairlane gets unfairly, oh gosh, maligned. But
yeah.
that movie's a lot.
It is. It is. It's yeah. It has Legends of the Ancient Sword levels of plotting with how much is going on in that film.
How do we watch? Wait, he directed Reunion 3.
Yeah, that's the one we can't find. The Class Reunion 3 singles cruise. I have searched high and low for this film. I have not found it anywhere under any title, English, Finnish, or otherwise. But I will continue to my hunt, and one day we will cover it. But as yet,
It,
we
it has a
cannot.
3.7 on
Yes,
IMDb.
it is not well regarded. um, I think that is his lowest score on IMDb. Given that like Driven has a 4.6, Cutthroat Island 5.7. Yeah, Reunion 3 is by some margin his lowest rated film. Uh,
Mm,
so
Wait, okay. The first feature film shot in Finland in 35 years.
what?
Yeah.
Like, the fact that it's almost one full star below the Misfits does not bode well.
Wait,
Uh,
with extensive safety protocols, it was one of the first European feature films shot entirely during the COVID pandemic in 2020.
I'm gonna keep looking for it. Yeah.
Yeah, but what class reunion is it? Is it even a 3?
Oh yeah, there it is a franchise. From what I can tell, there are at least
Has he been
two other.
interviewed about this?
There are two other Class Reunion films that had nothing to do with Rennie. He just was pulled in to make this one, and it doesn't seem to exist.
Oh wait, Yahoo News Canada. I found it.
What, the
Renny
whole film?
Harlin wraps Class Reunion 3 threequel to successful Finnish comedy series after rail pandemic era shoot. Yeah, he filmed it.
I believe you, but where is it? I want to watch it. I need to cross
Let's
it
see.
off.
What's
It's like his only Finnish film.
the previous
Honestly.
two movies clocked more than 800,000 admissions in cinemas in Finland, 15% of the entire population, and they grossed 9.5 million.
That's
Uh,
incredible.
let's see. Wait, what about the Class Reunion Finland box office? How much money did it? Well, it couldn't have been released, right? Class Reunion 3 box office.
There's nothing on Wikipedia. I'll cut out these pauses.
Wait, Class Reunion? No, no, that's 1982. Wait, is this Reunion 3 singles cruise?
Yes. The second one is like Bachelor Party, I think.
When they're on a cruise?
And the third one is Cruise. So it's not, I don't think I'm guessing the first one is an actual like class reunion. And then the second one is some of the people that met up at the class reunion now go on a bachelor party. And the third one is, hey, now they're on a cruise. That's
And it, invitation only guest premiere, and it didn't really go out in theaters. So this movie just is out here existing somewhere.
apparently so.
And it's on a singles cruise.
We need to find listeners. If there's anybody listening in Finland, help us. We beseech you, please. Uh, and like the first reunion film is a remake of a Danish film. So how far does this go?
We need to this is crazy.
We need to go to Finland and
Yeah,
find
we do.
a Finnish blockbuster and just settle in and watch all these films.
Yeah, we'll just get some pickled herring and
Because
hang out.
the Danish film Klasserfesten has no sequels, one and done. Uh, yeah, but Tinelli Mustonen directed the Finnish remake and then the sequel, and then did make the third one. And they're like, hey, that's a Rennie do it.
Yeah,
We need.
why didn't he do it? Did Rennie bump him?
There is no information on this film. I don't know
Yeah,
what
that's
you want
true.
from me.
This thing disappeared. And we need to watch it though.
We need to watch this. We also need to watch scroll. He did a couple of TV shorts. We'll get to them at some point. Some music videos. Angel City is a TV movie he directed. As is Trax, Trax. So our Rennie journey is not yet complete. He also did 21 episodes of the Finnish version of Gladiators. I think you have Gladiators. You have American Gladiators or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a Finnish version called Gladiatorat, which he directed 21 episodes of.
Oh.
I am surprised. That's almost half of the episodes. So,
Wait. Angel City, a television pilot about a tough detective in crime-ridden Los Angeles.
Yep. And you know we'll watch 4 episodes of Burn Notice, 1 episode of White Collar, an episode of Covert Affairs, and 3 episodes of Graceland at some point. I'm sure. So,
Wait, Ellie Samaha is in it? You know who that is? That's the guy who started Franchise Pictures.
oh yes, that makes sense. Our favorite from Driven.
Jeez, yeah, your favorite movie.
Yeah, I really hate
Well,
that
Jay,
film.
this movie, how deep in blue is it?
Okay. Well, firstly, how is it similar to Deep Blue Sea?
Oh
And
gosh.
you not very actually, surprisingly not very. There's a big creature locked up. It's the Elephant Man. It's John Merrick. Someone has their arm cut off. Oh yeah, when they're in the big auction room, they have to fight after that. there's like a Master Splinter rat guy just kind of
Yeah, who just gets his
hobbles
arm cut
across the
off,
room, and he just gets just massacred
destroyed.
by a nameless guard.
Yeah,
Uh, which not okay with that. But yeah, his arm cut off. There's a
never see him
chef.
again.
There's a chef who just happens to be a panda. There's a lot of big exposition dumps. A lot of big exposition dumps in this film. Nothing
Uh,
like if they are not fighting, they are delivering exposition. They go underwater. There's popping rivets underwater. The submersible's got like rivets popping all over the place, which is great. An underwater environment is destroyed. They escape it by swimming directly upwards. When they swim upwards, they all hold hands. This is the most insane thing in the whole film. Is to hold hands whilst you're swimming up for your lives. You are. I get it. Kicking is the most effective part of swimming. But you know what else helps? Using your arms, and you can't do that if you're holding hands. And there's a human sea creature hybrid. It's the fish man, but also it's a creature turning into a shark. So yeah, that's about it in terms of similarities. Um, there could be more, but I had to pay attention to this film because every time I looked down, someone went into a painting, and I had to go back in the film a little bit. Depth and blueness and seeness. So listeners, if this
they
is
kind
your
of
first,
equal each other out, right? They equal each other out. Would
not
they not?
quite. So listeners, if this is your first episode you're listening to, welcome. You've picked a great one to start with. But every film that we watch, I go through and estimate how deep the action is at each point throughout the film, work out the average depth of the film, how blue everything on screen is, and quite recently, how much the film takes place at sea. Deep blue sea, you know. So, on average, deep blue sea is 14.5 meters or 37.5 feet deep, 31% blue, and takes place 89% of deep blue sea takes place at sea. A lot of it takes place at sea. Mark, do you think that Legend of the Ancient Sword is deeper, bluer, and more at sea than deep blue sea?
Well, it's not more at sea.
No, true, correct.
Uh, there's a lot of stuff in the air, and there's a lot of stuff underwater. But a lot of it's in the air, so I'm gonna say it's not as deep.
Correct. As I said earlier, I had to just guess everything in this film. This is a fantasy film where there are rock towns in the sky and they go down who knows how far. But I just kind of took some estimates based on other films we've covered. This works out of being 329 meters or 1,078 feet up in the air. They're up in the air a lot. They're in airships above cloud level for a lot of the film. And they're actually underwater for not that. It's like a chunk of it in the middle, but not a huge amount. So depth wise, this is a little higher than Avatar: The Way of Water, which has some stuff in space, and a little lower than Rennie's The Misfits because of how much that film takes place on planes. So this isn't even Rennie's highest film. He's got one, two. He's got three.
Cliffhanger, right?
He's got three films higher. There's Misfits, Die Hard 2, and Cliffhanger, all higher than Legend of the Ancient Sword. Blueness, not very blue, 15.7% blue. It's only really when they're underwater that it's like that blue. So it's bluer than below, less blue than Godzilla vs. Biollante. So actually bluer than a lot of other Rennie's films. I think Mindhunters and Deep Blue Sea, they need like blue ones in this, and Prison actually. And Seanus, it's like 4% at sea. So which I count as when they're actually in the submersible when they're at sea. So when they go into the undersea land bit, they're back on land, so that counts as being land. I break this down far more than I should do in that I have this film takes place 3.87% at sea, 6.41% in other water that's not the sea, 31.24% on land, 46.39% in the air, and 12.08% in the void, which is where the credits are. Neither land nor sea nor air nor water, it's the void. And that's quite a lot of the film. I have a whole new graph. Yeah, so that means it's more at sea than where's it gone? It's more at sea than Devil's Pass, less at sea than Sharknado. Great. Uh,
Ooh,
um,
where
uh,
does it rank on There's No Time?
I mean, this is the most There's No Time film we've ever covered, I think. 12 Rounds is a pretty There's No Time film, I think. That's a very rushed Rennie film as well, but I'm going to say this is more There's No Time. This is less time than 12 Rounds. I'm not
And
adding
there's
that as
less
a new
John Cena
category.
running.
there is a lot less John Cena running. There's actually very little running at all in this film.
Well, it's all green screen, so they can't run far.
Yeah, there's so little time they have to take airships. They can't afford to run. Uh, but yeah, that's gonna do it for Legends of the Ancient Sword. I'm so glad we covered it. I'm so happy to have seen it and crossed it off. So
This has
yeah,
been looming over us for years, and we
it
finally did
has.
it.
We finally did it. So yeah, Rennie wise, the next one we'll probably do will be his new The Strangers films,
Yeah, I bought
which
it. I'm just
I,
waiting for you.
I am just waiting for it to be available. It came to the cinema and I missed it. So I'll watch it at some point and we'll cover it. But I have now seen the original The Strangers, and yeah, that film's a bummer.
Jeez, so wait, yeah, feel good movie of the year.
Pray at Night is just dropped on streaming, so I'll be watching that soon as well.
Yeah, swimming pool fight.
Yeah, but I think I haven't written it, posted it at the time of recording, but by the time this goes up, I would have written a review of The Strangers, the original, for Blueprint Review, so you can go and check that out. Yeah, because they got Blu-ray release, so I now own it on Blu-ray and DVD. Films I will never watch again. um,
I
they're
kind of want
good.
to buy the new Strangers, but I just don't. I don't know because I want the commentary.
Sure.
I already bought it. I own it, but I don't own the Blu-ray. I'm not
gonna
gonna do
say,
it, Jay.
like the original is. I'm gonna say it's good. It's well made. It's just
Yeah,
it just sucks.
Brian Bertino, man, he punches you right in the face with his movies. Dark and the Wicked, Monster, this like they're not a good time.
And like I watched it. My wife was away for a few days, so like, great, she hates horror films. I'm gonna watch this when she's away, and so I was just in a house on my
No,
own watching The Strangers, and I like paused it, and went and got up and checked the locks 3 or 4 times during that. I was like, just gonna make sure that all of the doors, all of the windows. I know it's quite a hot night, but I'm shutting all of those windows, all of those. Everything's being locked tonight.
did you
Yeah,
put chairs in front of the doors?
I should have done. Oh, someone could have got in. They could still be in the house. Oh
They're
no.
just standing behind you right now. They've been in there since that day.
My room is dark.
Well, you got dogs too, so that
Yeah.
they would know.
Oh, they are no help. You try and break into my house, you just get a couple of dogs. That's all that's going to happen. You just get two new furry best friends. Uh, they're anyone's. Uh, right. So yeah, that's going to do it for Legends of the Ancient Sword. Next week on this show will be Crimson Tide. Finally watch Crimson Tide, and you'll find out if we're ever going to cover any more submarine films based on whether I liked Crimson Tide or not next week on the show. Mark, any plugs?
Yeah, just I don't know, just movies, films, flicks. Listen to that. I got some other stuff coming out. Might have some fun news. Yeah.
Excellent. Life versus Film is my site. As I've mentioned, Blueprint Review is where you can read some of my reviews as well. And you can follow this podcast all over social media at Deep Blue Sea Pod. Email us deepblueseapod@gmail.com. And yeah, send
Thank
us
you for
more
listening,
suggestions.
everybody.
Yeah, thank you. We really appreciate it. We hope you're enjoying. Yeah. I feel like this is more of a like shark movie podcast where we occasionally talk about Renny Harlin films. So I like to think we cater to the needs of whatever reason it is that you like Deep Blue Sea. We've got you covered. So whether you like it because it's a Renny Harlin film, because it's a shark film, or it's a wet film, we've got it. Got you covered. Maybe we'll branch out into Deep Blue Sea actors and other films they've done at some point. But maybe
Oh,
I kind of want to
hey.
do like try and find the most Deep Blue Sea adjacent film from each of the actors' careers and cover all of those.
Well,
So it'd be
Jurassic
like
Park.
or Snakes on a Plane. I don't know. Snakes on a
Oh
Plane
yeah.
feels pretty Deep Blue Sea to me. And like Halloween H2O. I don't know. Maybe maybe it's maybe it's the Friday, not the Friday Night Lights. What's it called? The football film.
Oh, any given Sunday.
Yeah, the other day of the week. I don't know. That's like Malignant.
We have a
perhaps?
crazy Jay. We have a crazy French film coming up.
We do. Survive is coming up in a couple of weeks' time. Yeah,
Oh man, that's gonna be
I'm
that'll be
watching
fun
that
to
this
talk
weekend.
about.
That's going to be good. Yeah, that was not on our radar at all. And I got an email saying, "Hey, screener for Survive." I was like, "Sure, throw it our way." So we're going to be covering that in 3 weeks. Survivor's going to come out on this show.
I'm really interesting. How are you gonna figure out depth on that one?
I haven't seen it yet. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I know the premise. Haven't figured it out yet. So we'll see. Maybe we're what I consider the depth at one point, and then from that same point later in the film, maybe the figure will change. We'll see. I don't know. The trailer seems to imply that things get pretty deep as the film goes on. But we shall see. Find out in 3 weeks' time. But as for Legend of the Ancient Sword, thank you once again, everyone, for listening. I have been Jake Lewitt.
And there's no time. There's no time to say my name.
We'll deep blue see you next week.